Of the Ivy
world
League.
leader in Internet Talk
but
Radio.
I think what's great
You're
is that they're
listening to
supporting
America's
each other
Voice,
and they're sharing interesting
voiceamerica.com.
resources.
The Internet's premier talk radio station, voiceamerica.com.
The world leader in Internet Talk Radio. You're listening to voiceamerica.com. Informative, educational, insightful. You're listening to voiceamerica.com.
Hi, everyone. We're broadcasting live from the Infinity Festival in Hollywood, and I'm Erin Reilly, professor of the University of Texas at Austin and a strategic consultant for the Infinity Festival. We're bringing Silicon Valley innovators together with Hollywood storytelling professionals, and I have our first guest with us today, Jenna Seiden. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Jenna, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'm a recovering Hollywood talent agent that went tech, actually. What I do right now is I am a consultant for a lot of content creators in the interactive space, primarily studios that are creating more interactive 6DoF content that are looking for ways to monetize, distribute, and basically be allowed to tell their stories and have someone else worry about all the technical logistics of the business side of things. And I work on the VR, AR side, and sometimes just translate between Hollywood and tech platforms because it's needed.
I love that saying you're a translator, which I think we need a lot of those, especially with this block we're talking about today, which is immersive and giving feedback to the next generation of immersive developers and storytellers. So in your own words, tell us, how do you define immersive? What is it?
Well, I usually let that, be defined by my partners. My job is to just help them keep their voice and what their definition is. So, I started off in sports, then I went into TV and film and digital, and I think all of it is to an extent immersive. When I work for the NBA, it's like when you're in the arena, how do you make that experience multisensory and immersive? So the NBA has one way of looking at interactivity, and today you're seeing them do so much with technology that's out there. And then I work with storytellers like Baobab and Felix and Paul. Arvory, they do narrative storytelling. And so are they leveraging the technology of the audio, the visuals, location-based entertainment? What makes it immersive to them when they're telling their story? So I think it's just sort of a dial of how much you turn up or turn down the environmental cues and the technology cues to make something immersive. But for me, I just want to escape in that content. That's really what it is for me. I'm a fan, and I do what I do because I'm a fan. I'm a much better coach than player, so I let them define it. And if they can get me to just feel entertained or learn something where the hardware is invisible, I'm immersed.
So I love how you say I'm a fan because I feel like immersive is the key is the audience. Tell me, what is your favorite project you've worked on that really defines immersive for you with the fan in the middle?
It's ironic. I work in a world of storytellers, and I've been in video games for about 15 years, and I love games and immersive experiences with less story.
Oh wow, that's
interesting
unique.
because I'm a gamer. I like leveling up. I need that motivation
you need the
and that
state.
I need that high. I work with Beat Saber. Okay, it is a pick up and play experience, and you are just doing the simple mechanic of hitting blocks, right? Of music based rhythm-based blocks. But to me, the reason I like that, it's a wonderful sorbet to sort of cleanse your palate of everything else in immersive and all your predispositions towards the headset and whatnot. And the moment you're in it, it's so intuitive that I'm in that world. And yes, they're using well-known songs and also some very wonderfully composed original EDM music. But you're hearing the story of the lyrics, and you're playing, and you forgot you have a headset on. You forgot you're in there. And now I'm like, not even worried about trying the next thing. And so from a game standpoint, my favorite immersive thing is Beat Saber. I'm biased as a fan, not because I work with them. But I really do love the storytelling from Arvory from Brazil. They had a piece that just won the Venice Film Festival, one of the 3 top awards, Best Immersive. And it's a piece called The Line. And it's a love story from Brazil in the 1940s. And it's beautiful because it can take place anywhere. And you actually really leverage the square footage of your sort of 10 by 10 space, and you forget you've got a headset on and you're really watching this love story unfold, and you feel part of their universe, and you don't want it to end. So I love these extremes that I work with, from just the games being immersed,
Right.
because there is a story there. It's not a tool for people to put their own songs in. These people created their version and with their art to do this kind of game, and same thing with like an Arvery or Baobab or Felix and Paul or Penrose. They're telling their story, and if you can just walk away going, I don't care what medium I saw that in, I felt something, it's great. But Arvery, I'm really impressed with what I've seen out of them.
Well, I love how you say Beat Saber, because I follow the collegiate and Beat Saber VR team, and it's actually the one game I play after work every day with the students.
There's a lot to be said for getting your frustration
Just getting it out.
There's a little fitness element to it.
Yeah.
I'm helping them manage their tournament and esports stuff. They're not supposed to be playing. There's not supposed to be a tournament collegiate team, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, I just gave it away, you two.
No, it's
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
No, they just want to make sure just some music rights and things
It's
that
probably
it's done
super
well.
informal going on.
I'm teasing. It is fine. Yeah, we just don't want to be like, oh, suddenly it's at this big arena. We're like, what happened? You know?
No. We'll definitely be giving you a call for that one.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful pick up and play experience. I mean, when you need to choose something to introduce this space to them.
Right.
A lot of people do the blue. A lot of people do X, Y, and Z. But Beat Saber really, all the stars aligned for them, which is nice.
Right, and in the line VR immersive, you still have a little bit of a passive experience, even though you're in the environment. It's more of a voyeur experience.
No, you are actively participating, and you're required to bend down and look. It's sort of like a diorama, like you need to look into certain scenes, and so you actually get down on the ground and look at things. You actually follow the protagonist searching for his love interest, and you actually use you actually have to participate by blowing the field, the wheat in the field, and you get to see that move. So you're very. It's not a 360. It is not. It's not light. It's actually. I mean, you're not sweating, but you actually have to move around. It's to actually be part of the narrative. Your actions drive the narrative forward.
And so if you were to give some advice to the next generation who are studying immersive, what are some of the hard skills and soft skills they need to acquire while they're taking my classes?
Listen, anything Erin says, it's right.
Pay attention.
Exactly. There's a lot to be said for the hard skills of knowing how to code and being a shader, and those invaluable. But I think you need to balance that with understanding the business. A lot of people in this space are artists, and they're creating, and it's an expression, but they're not thinking about the channels where to tell that story, whether they want it for brand awareness, they want it for, to put food on the table.
Right.
So I think it would be very important to really understand just standard business models and get some training on that side. And you can apply old school, I hate saying old school, but legacy business models of how the movie systems works, how exhibitors work, how television works, license fees. It's just a new skin on standard business models. So I think from that skill set, from the hard skill set, understanding contracts and channels, it's good. And then lastly, soft skills, just being, working as a team, just team dynamics.
Thank you for saying that.
You can't work in a vacuum here. You really need to listen and digest other people's contributions. You may not have to do it, but, really understand, because there's so much value to be gotten from everyone on the project, and just understanding how to work in a team. And then if your company's successful, now you've got to take on corporate responsibilities and all those things. So I think just team building skills and abilities to, work together, collaborate socially and professionally is really important, because this is a social medium.
Yeah, I think immersive is very interdisciplinary, and we're trying at University of Texas at Austin to bring a lot of the different colleges together so that each person can really respect their contribution and their expertise and know how to work together.
I was a TV agent, and yes, I was doing the deals, but if I didn't understand, I felt it was doing a disservice that I didn't understand what a writer went through. So I taught myself how to write a half-an-hour script and a full-hour script, because I understood what they went through, and I felt I was much better understanding what they went through to be able to go do that job. And so on their behalf, same thing in this space. I was a video game agent, and now I'm working with Immersive. I really try to understand, as inarticulate as I may be at 9 o'clock in the morning without coffee, I really try to understand the differences between volumetric capture and modeling. I want to understand the differences in the pros and cons of Unity versus Unreal.
Right.
And I'm the business side, and I like to think I am a storyteller. I'm good with flow and dialogue trees and things, but I know a little bit of a lot of things. But yet it's important, I think, that everyone sort of understands the role of the people who together will make that product what it's ultimately supposed to be.
Right. Successful. We hope.
And whatever that metric is, whether it's my
Right.
goal is to get this in a festival, my goal is to make $1 gazillion. We're getting there. But really understand those beats and who you need together to get there. So.
Right. And I also find that Immersive is in many different industries. Which industry do you think is the next that's really going to jump on the Immersive bandwagon?
As much as I love shooting zombies all day long,
Yeah.
if education and enterprise don't, jump on this bandwagon, then I think we're in a little bit of a tough spot with the hardware. But I've seen it. I've seen so much growth in education, and we've seen the white papers being written as to how kids of all levels and university students are actually comprehension increases and memory and all these amazing things. I've seen amazing training tools with credit card companies and forklift agencies and 311 services. You need all of that in that ecosystem to work together. So I think training, to me, and education, training specifically behind the scenes, not forward consumer facing, but the B2B training,
Right.
bank tellers, firemen, all that stuff. And then education, I'm jealous of my nieces and nephews who probably get to grow up now with this technology
Right.
and go, oh, I know what it was like to be
And
on
have
the
tools that are
battlefield.
easy to use.
Yeah, I've been to Egypt. I've seen the pyramids. I've walked up close and seen the hieroglyphics. Or, they trained me how to do this in school because I put the headset on.
Right.
This is before the chip gets implanted in your brain. But still, until then.
Yeah, that's for the next podcast.
It is. Exactly. I don't know anything that's being worked. No, I'm kidding. They're not working on that.
So speaking of training, we're hosting a Moody meetup next week
Oh,
on
nice.
using training and education.
amazing.
And I'm curious because I'm always looking for new demos and new
Oh.
examples to pull.
Okay.
Which one would you say you've got to look at this, Erin?
That's a great question. There's not a lot of, it's interesting. I'd like to see more growth in the curriculum-based content.
Yes.
And right now there's a lot of edutainment out there. And so I think depending on what you want to use it for, I think there's a lot of good there's a lot of good stuff that needs curriculum to it. So I'm going to get back to you on that just because my head is so full with so many things. I'm actually working on the platform to deliver the content. So I actually have too much of a library in my head and don't want to confuse people because they would be very upset if I pitched the wrong thing.
We'll have to share our demo libraries.
Yeah, no, and then I can help you distribute that as well.
That sounds good.
Yeah, no, I've seen so many sort of just more social one-to-many sort of collaborative tools and actually some training things that I did see that I really enjoyed was university level training how to spray paint your car. I know those Makos in places. But instead of putting the car out there and wasting paint, it actually can, through VR, can actually see you spent too long on this space. And basically it's great training for less than education, but more job training. So yeah, I'll send you a list of all the random things and you can tell me what you guys think, but I'd love to see your library.
I will definitely share it with you.
Oh, I thought of one.
Okay.
Do you know the Kramer Collection?
No.
The Kramer Collection is a collection of mostly Flemish and art and Rembrandt.
Okay.
And you can go into the simulated museum and you can actually go up to and see and touch and feel basically that museums don't let you do. But you should see this virtual museum and they've taken this program that was meant for adults and turned it into something called Mighty Masters. And it's a kids VR tool to teach them about the masters in painting and our master artists. And so, yeah, the Mighty Masters. So I'll send you that by Moyosa Media in the Netherlands. It's amazing.
So then they actually get to learn from the masters and try it out themselves?
Yeah, they get to see what, a Blue Boy looks like. They get to see, these classic paintings from Rembrandt, from Van Gogh to Manet. Whereas they made this initial museum for adults, but they just walked through and it was gorgeous. They're like, but we need to do this for people need to learn. Mm-hmm. And so they aged it down and now it's a training tool with a curriculum for, I believe it is it's not K through 12. I think it's more middle school type of kids and stuff. But it's a wonderful program. So instead of my mom who used to come to the elementary school and show us, she was the art lady, show the picture. Now this is a tool in VR, so they can actually see the paint strokes and the brush strokes and learn who Rembrandt was or X, Y, and Z. It's amazing. So. See, I knew I'd come up with the one I liked the best.
I know, right? On the fly. I love it. Because we're live. So good to think on your feet.
I'm trying.
So tell me, do you, the examples you've been giving sounds like they're all in virtual reality. But what about augmented reality or the use of AI or IoT? Do you find those are emerging tools as well that are part of immersive? And
Absolutely. I mean, I can only speak mostly from a storytelling side, at least more articulately, but I know of a lot of developers who are creating sort of AR-based storybooks. You open up the book and the characters pop out. Exactly.
Have you seen Mirror?
Yes.
Yes, beautiful.
Exactly. Exactly. So from a storytelling standpoint, when then you can take those characters away with you or help you, so you're still in the real world, but it's augmented is what AR is. So I'm seeing it used in that way. I'm seeing it used in education or museums when you're going through a museum and you can actually, use the AR Kit, AR Core and seeing some of the assets there. I just came back from another summit in Vancouver and learned a lot about, using AI to, recreate this room. And so I'm just excited about where that's going. Again, I spend most of my time shooting zombies, so that's where I see it. But I work with someone who's doing a wonderful storybook with major AAA IP, and just imagine seeing these characters sitting in the corner of your living room while you're reading your kids a book, and they come and perform while you're sitting here. It's amazing. So yeah, so I do focus mostly on VR, but now with the headsets, starting to think about that. More than just a front-facing camera, just having that AR capability. I'm excited to see now how developers look at their assets, how they're capturing them, modeling them, and then how can they use them so you can take that experience away with you and carry it with you, not just in the headset. What happens when you're at location-based in an arcade, and you just want to create that immersive transmedia world, and AR helps you complement that by having that capability to have it with you all the time.
That's great. And are you speaking today here at the Infinity Festival? I
am moderating a panel on location-based entertainment for virtual content at 10:50. I'm very lucky to sit on moderate a panel with Jake Zim from Sony, Jason Turner from VRC, Brad Scoggin he's the CEO of Springboard, which is a platform for content distribution in arcades. And lastly, Edouard de Montmort from Arvory came in all the way from Sao Paulo for this event.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Well, we're here with Jenna Seiden. Thank you so much. Live at the Infinity Festival talking about immersive and hopefully engaging the next generation of storytellers.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jenna.